Hello, my name is Nephi Wolf, and I'm with NCSI, and this is the next in our series of videos on extraction, where we'll be going over some more advanced settings for some of the dashboards and some troubleshooting tips as well. This up here, and let's see. All right, so the first thing I wanted to show you is that the ability to copy these different gadgets in future versions. This has only been around for the last year or so, but you can click on this gear here, and then there's an option to copy it. So we can copy, if you have something that's more complicated, you've added in several things and you want to add it to another dashboard, you can take that there, and we can just open up another dashboard, and then we can come here and just right-click and paste. So we can copy gadgets between the dashboards there like that. And you can't copy it to a new one. So if you had extraction open on a new browser tab, that doesn't work. You'll have to file open, open the new dashboard and then paste it in there. So you can also wanted to show you how you have, like this gadget is showing the top 5. And so you can come in here, and this is the top level, and then this is everything below that is all the different queries that are running in there. So we go to the top level here, and we can go to the output, and right now it's set to the top 5, but we could change that to the top 10, or we could show all of them. So we can show how many items are shown there. Also, we can change the colors of it. So as we do that, we have 10 items there. So the phone is like the dark purple. So maybe on one of these reports, we want to have some of these items stand out better. So we can come back in here, and we can go to this colors tab, and we can add a color. We can say where it's equal to phone, and then we can change our color to maybe a purple. And we can say OK there. So now our phone is purple in this report. But what if you just hate these colors altogether? You want to change all the colors that it uses here. So you can come in here to the administration, and you can go into the settings. And so then it has all the different colors listed here. So the first color, the biggest item, will be dark red, then orange, then light orange. And it'll go through, and so you can drag these around. So you can change their order. You can go in, you can right-click on them, you can remove them, you can add new ones. So you can change the colors that it uses if you don't like the colors that are used there. So you're able to change the colors like that. And let's see. Another common thing is as you drag these items over, let's do source. So this one's already source. We'll just drag source over again so we can reset this. So as you drag source over here, so as you drag these items over, you can see it says incident source, created date during the last month. So sometimes you just want a nice, simple title, like these other ones are. And so what you can do is you can come in here to the component again and the output, and you can just uncheck this show title summary, and then it'll just give you the simple name. It won't go through and give you all of those details. And for something like this one here, like a group, so we have a pie chart, and coming back here again, you can also change it to a donut or columns. You can go into the displays, and you can change the way that it looks there. So you can do that. So you can do that here by going into the component and the output, or you can also click on the gears here, and then there's this recycle icon. You can cycle through the different items here. So you could change it to a grid that way as well. And when you have it set up as a grid, whether it's a group or a tree or any of these other ones, but when you're showing data as a grid, what else can you do it with? Pivots, lists, components. You're showing it as a grid here. You can set up what's called alerts, and so you can see how these are different colors here. So you can come into the top level again, and you have these alert rules, and you can see I have, if it's greater than 50, then the text color is white and the background's red. If it's greater than 40, then the text color is black. So we can add another one here, and add a rule, and we can just say if it's below 40, then we'll say the text color will be black. We'll just change this to green. We can say OK, and then you can see how it applies it to those last items there. And something to note with these, as we come into these alert rules, so you'll notice that so these top two items, they are greater than 40. So these first two items there, they could be yellow because they're greater than 40, or they could be red because they're greater than 50. So the alert rules, they apply going down in order. So if this first rule applies, then it's done. It won't apply any of the other rules. If the first rule doesn't apply, then it'll come down to the second rule and third rule and so on. So just remember that as you're grouping those numbers, as you're setting those up, so that the first rule to apply in order will apply, and then nothing else will apply after that. So while this one is, these top two are above 40, the first rule applied, changing their background to red, so that one applied first. And then another thing that I'd like to show you is how you can add more than one series here. So for example, this one has incidents created by month. It also has incidents closed by month. And then we have we did some math to show the percentage closed. So what you can do with those, so if we switch, for example, this one, if we switch it back to bar charts, we have it like that. So then we can go in and we just have one series. We have one item listed there. We can go to the top level, and actually we'll do it with this one. We can go to the top level, and then we can add a new series. And so for each series that we add, so for example, this one's incidents, we could even change it to service requests. That's fine. So service requests, group by month, and then we'll just show them by where the created date. The last, oops, I think those other ones are the last 2 months. So as we add that new series, we have a new item listed here, and so then it lists the series there. So we have incidents created, incidents closed, then we have the service requests. So it just adds those into the chart. So you can have multiple items there listed on the chart. I'll come back to this top level here. So this is incidents created. So as we look at this, I've given this a name. And usually you leave the name field blank, and that's fine. But I've given this series a name, and I've called it created. And then I've given this series, the closed series, another name, closed. So then what we can do is you can right click and you can add a calculated series. And so we can calculate based off of the math from those. So this one here, this one is a calculated series. So we take the number of closed and we divide it by the number created and times it by 100. So we're just taking the number that you get from there on any given month and the number you get from there on any given month and timesing it by 100. And so you can just do some simple math based off of these numbers here. And you can do quite complicated math, but this is just a simple example. And then before you click on OK, it'll ask you to check to make sure that there actually is a closed series and a created series. So it says expression is valid. So if we just add a S there and we check, then it says it can't find that parameter. So you do want to check that, otherwise it'll try and do math and the math won't work. And then another item that I wanted to show you is on some of the newer versions, well, the last year or so of Xtraction, there's a new feature where, so right now we have, 5 items here. So you're familiar with coming in here and changing it like this. We can change it. So we just add another item. We have another gadget area there. But in the more recent versions, you can convert it to resizable. So maybe in this one, we can see that we don't need all that much space, so we can bring that over. And then this one, we want to make it a little bit bigger. So we can just grab on the corner there and make that bigger like that. And then this one, we can see the numbers clearly there, but we want to make this one wider. So we can customize the size of those, and they'll just snap into place. And so we can make a custom size like that as well. So those are some of the more advanced settings that I wanted to show you here. And then I also want to show you, let's see, so sometimes you may run into some errors. And I created a field in my data model that's wrong. And so sometimes you may just have errors and you get this error message here and you're wondering what's going on. And so what you can do is on the hard drive, if we pull up the File Explorer, we can go to the extraction folder, Program Files x86, Extraction. So we can go there, and then the web, this is where the website runs. So we'll go into the website, and the web server, this is the authentication, this just logs you in. But then the web server, there's this app settings production file. And so I've created a copy. The original version just had the log level set to error. So it'll show you the error messages. But I've gone and I've changed that to debug. So that'll show me a lot more information. And so what you can do with that, when you go in there, so I have that turned on. Oh, and once you make the changes, you'll also need to reset IIS. So you can do an IIS reset or recycle the application pools. But once you do that, then the log folder, so if we go back up to the extraction, and then we go to data, and then we go to log. So then we have this extraction.web.log, and this will fill up pretty quickly. Like this will grow in size. So when you open this file up, you can jump to the end, and you'll see these indented sections. So we'll scroll up just a little. Whoop, that's too much. So here's another timestamp. So this is an error. Whenever you see an indented section, you'll see an error message. And so this one says invalid column name. And so then that'll help you troubleshoot it better. So you can go into the data model that says invalid column name. So let me look at the table that it's pulling from, and maybe I just have the wrong SQL column that I've added in there. So you can see things like that. You can see the error messages in the web log. But also, so when I come back in here, I'm just going to pretend like I'm going to make a change, and then I'll say OK. And I'm going to reopen that file. And if I jump down to the end there, so you can see the actual SQL statement that it runs. So it's selecting, this stuff from this table and putting that information in there. So this is just helpful if you ever wanted to see the SQL that it's running, see what it's doing, understand better what's going on. That'll help you there. Error messages. So the error message that we had was just a little bit further up. So whenever you see the indentations, those are the error messages, and you can get the information from there to try and figure out what's going on. Now again, this does grow the log file quite quickly, and so you'll want to turn that on for troubleshooting. But then once you're finished with that, then you can come back to the web folder and the server, and you can just change that app settings production file back to the error. So it'll just show error messages. So hopefully you found this information to be helpful, and we'll be working on some more videos, and we'll have those out for you shortly.